As Monica Weldon is getting on her microphone, the woman who needs no microphone also almost needs no introduction, in the sense that Monica is an amazing force of nature. She is the president and CEO of Bridge the Gap, which is our SYNGAP, the big American SYNGAP Foundation, which was the first cab off the rank. And Monica is a force. She is somebody who is a real warrior in the rare disease community. She's back and forth from her home in Houston, Texas, to Washington, D.C. quite frequently. We've expanded the envelope and brought her halfway around the world. And one of the things that I already love about a fellow American is that she's really a collaborator and has been, we sat down last night and we were all comparing. Monica was ripping out a piece of paper and writing down notes. I gotta send you that, and I gotta email you about that. That is Monica, that's what parents do. That's why this is so important. She's also an author, and most importantly, she's a mom of 5 children, one of whom, Beckett, has SYNGAP. So please, warm welcome for another mom and another Yank.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I am so excited. My first time in Australia. I'm still a little jet lagged. I'm okay, but I'm going to try to stay, Danielle, within my 5 minutes. I kind of wanted to start off with a theme that's really big in advocacy. And as parents, you are all citizen scientists. Okay, even that you're put into this world with either a child or a loved one that you're having to deal with a rare disease or undiagnosed or whatever it is. You are a citizen scientist. Your advocacy efforts, your voice is important. And so that's kind of what I want to get across in my short story. And I want to tell you a little bit about how I started. Beckett actually is a twin. He's a fraternal twin. I have Piper is his sister, and she's very neurotypical. And Beckett. And I noticed when he was 4 months old that he wasn't meeting his milestones. He wasn't sitting up. She was crawling, just the typical infant thing I had to compare to. At 4 months old, we went in, we started seeing doctor after doctor after doctor. Ended up being, before he was diagnosed, we saw 19 different specialists, 4 neurologists. Then finally we got to a geneticist. And at that time, in 2012, when we did get the diagnosis, whole exome DNA testing was relatively new. And of course insurance, but I told the geneticist, I begged him, you got to do this. I don't care if the insurance covers it or not. I actually went and took out a loan in the bank to get this done. I'm glad I did. It took me a while to pay that loan off, but that's okay because it got me and got the patients here. It was worth every dime. So we got through our undiagnosed journey for 4 years. He was diagnosed in 2012, and kind of fast forward, I started to blog for my own mental health. And those of you who are close to me, you know that I have a lot of words to speak. But I put it on paper. And I had one parent reach out to me through my blog, and it was the first parent that I had ever met who lives in Philadelphia. And before that, in my mind, when the geneticist got the hit on the gene mutation, he was the first one diagnosed at Texas Children's Hospital. And at the time, there were only 6 identified that they knew of in the literature. And he happened to be one of the 6 that we knew of, at least in North America at the time. So when that parent reached out to me, we started a Facebook group with 3 families. We didn't know where we were going from there. And as we went through 2012, our family started to build, and they found me through, or they found us through the blog, because that's all I ever said, SYNGAP 1, SYNGAP 1, SYNGAP 1, and I put the tags in there. And then our group started to grow, and I said the only thing I could do was to start reaching out. So I took the first paper that was handed to me by my geneticist, and I found Dr. Jacques Michaud out of the University of Montreal. He actually gave me Dr. Gavin Rumbaugh's email, And he was the first scientist that reached back out. And so we kind of started building a community. And so I was throwing him data even then before we had a registry to try to figure out what we needed to do. And that was so important because that ended up building our organization. And then now, that was 23 families when we started in 2014. And I believe currently now, at least in our Facebook group, we have about 170 families with patients in our Facebook group, and probably about 250 worldwide. In fact, within the last 24 hours, I have 2 diagnosed cases. One was just this morning from Austria, our first one. So I'm saying that you're tired, but don't ever doubt your voice and what you can do, because believe me, I had no idea what I was doing when I started this. But I knew that collaboration with the scientist and that even though our anecdotal type symptoms and what we lived with every day, it wasn't documented, it still needed to be spread out to the people who were trying to get treatment. So we became a citizen scientist. So I also want to say that it's okay to be a pioneer. We're pioneers, and this is a whole new realm of, it's just a whole new era. And just know that your voice matters, and that you don't have to start an organization to do and move mountains to get help for your child that needs it, or your loved one that needs it. And don't ever be scared to approach, because that was the first thing I had to put aside was fear. And so when you put aside the fear and you make a goal, keep going and do it. Because if I'd have never done that, and plus I have people behind me that are just incredible, that really keep me on my straight path. But that's kind of the message I have. I'm not done, and I think I've said before, if something happens to me, somebody better take over, because I'm going to come back and haunt somebody. That's all I can say. But just take opportunities. Don't ever look past an opportunity. You recognize it and you act on it. And if you act, then you're going to accomplish the goals, and we're going to get closer to treatments.
Don't move. Don't move. I want to ask you a question. First of all, that was fantastic, Monica. And secondly, do you know Scott Perry, Dr. Scott Perry, the medical director of neurology at Cook Children's Hospital in Fort Worth?
No, but I need to know.
Okay, hang on, because you're about to. All right, everybody. Hi, Dr. Scott Perry. Thank you. Dr. Scott Perry, medical director of neurology, Cook Children's Hospital, Fort Worth. Sounds like a great meeting. This is from Twitter. Let me know the date and the time of the next one. All right, as we say, where we're from, come on down. And as we say down here, really come on down. Okay, so you are invited, Scott Perry. Dr. Perry, we look forward to seeing you. And our live stream update, so thank you very much, Monica Weldon. We really appreciate it.